Turn to chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023. This meeting will be conducted via in-person and remote means. That means that members of the public body, as well as members of the public, may access this meeting in person or virtually. The meeting may be accessed remotely via contact provided by law. When required by law or allowed by the chair, persons wishing to provide public comment or otherwise participate in the meeting may do so in person or remotely. Additionally, this meeting may be broadcast at a later date via the town YouTube channel and Topsfield cable television, which is on. Call the meeting to order. 6:31. Catherine will not be joining us today. She had other conflicting needs and issues. So we're going to, one minor item that wasn't on the agenda that we're going to do is our meeting minutes. It's kind of a standard. Then we'll do an update on current events. From the looks of it, we'll get Amanda a heater. You look like you were cold. We'll do liaison updates and a check-in and prep for our meetings in January and any open discussion. That's the agenda that I have. If there's anything else anyone has, please let me know. But why don't we start with the meeting minutes? Meeting minutes were sent out on November 10th, which was right after our meeting, and then this 2 days later, the subsequent school committee meeting that we participated in. Although we had a quorum of our representatives there, we didn't actually as a group speak, so I don't know that we need meeting minutes. I didn't. They took meeting minutes as well.
This is the hot one? Sorry, the meeting that you were speaking.
Yeah, the one, the hot seat that I was on.
Hot, sorry, I meant the.
No, I was on a hot seat.
Informative.
I was very much on a hot seat.
Okay.
And we'll figure it out. So meeting minutes for our meeting from the 6th. Third. 6th was the follow-on, sorry. Yeah. Any comments, questions?
So the only thing that on item 2C, do we want to attach to the minutes the guideline or, the workbook itself, or no?
No.
Okay, so I'm just going to delete, should we attach it?
Yeah, sorry, I missed that. No, I don't think we should. That's a work product. The result of it, though, can be referenced, which is the town guidelines, and those were shared.
Yeah, I'm fine with the minutes as written, minus the edit that Heidi mentioned. I have no issues.
Anybody else have one? Any comments?
I'll make a motion then. I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes as amended.
We have first.
Second.
We have second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved. There's no unanimous, so move from there. Okay. Great. We're up of these and just getting them done. All right. So update on current events. I'll start. Anybody have any current events they want to update us on? And then I'll go into what I have, which is
just personal, but my daughter had twins.
Oh, congratulations.
So that was
that's fantastic.
Yes. It went all well. Twins are high risk and stuff like that. So,
yeah.
Anyway.
So are you now, it's your first time as a grandfather now?
This is tripled. It was tripled my grandchild.
Yeah. Congrats. That's awesome.
But that's not what FinCom's about.
No, yes, well, but it's
good news.
It's actually why we do all of it.
Yeah.
Right? And it's why we do it all.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Any other positive good news before we get into the
pretty high bar to start with.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you everyone for the response.
That's awesome. Any other updates from, we'll get into liaison updates, but current event type of things. We did have the meeting on the 6th that 5th to 6th that Mike was referring to with the school committee. It was probably, I could have softened some of what I was trying to say, but it was not well taken. But it is what it is.
In terms of like the guidelines.
Well, the guidelines, but also the data that I was presenting. They did not like the data I presented and the statements that I made.
Okay.
And the two core pieces of statements were the enrollment versus spend and their special ed. And on the special ed, there is a positive. The data that they gave me was not the most recent data,
Mhm.
and the more recent data showed a greater drop in the number of kids that were out of district.
Mhm.
The data that they've given me it by 6 or 7 kids, but that's 10%.
I thought it was only 4 drops.
So
59 to 62.
two, is that what? Yeah.
Okay, so they said 71, then it's 69, now they're saying
Oh,
62.
69.
So,
yeah,
so that's the
71.
drop since,
Yeah.
that's the drop since the third,
This is the count of what kids?
Kids are out of district, fully out of district.
yeah.
Oh, it's a lot more than I would guess.
Yeah.
You want to circulate that? That was very informative, very concise.
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah, I
good.
can share it.
So I'm sorry, so that's 62 kids that are out of district, whether it's private schools?
Out of district meaning the school is paying for them
Okay.
somewhere else.
These are special
Okay.
ed.
So these
Special
are,
ed or-
yes,
yeah,
yeah,
alright.
this is not, oh, I chose to go to St. John's or
Okay,
Dove's or
right.
something. This is, and this was the second piece that they absolutely tried to skewer me on, to be perfectly honest. And I would say this if they were here, and they're wrong, was they said that they don't have a choice.
You know what?
They said they don't have a I started to say that each person that you send out of district
Yeah,
you are acknowledging that you can't provide those services for that person. They were not happy with me for saying that, and they disagreed with me. But at the end of the day, now I'm here within us, and I'll share this publicly as well. I would. The IEP form starts with the school recommends these goals, and they sign it. And then the form results with the parents accept or reject these.
Yeah.
So ultimately, that's a point that I think we need to get alignment on. At the end of the day, maybe all these kids do need that service.
Yeah, I'd like to discuss that a little more. I don't
Yeah.
know if you want to
Yeah.
right now or,
Well, let's do it during the liaison
yeah,
updates, but
because I share your,
you know,
okay.
and so we'll do a little more on that, at that point. Beyond that, Amanda did some sessions. I've been traveling for the past, literally, I left Sunday and I got back last night. So haven't been able to get in for one, but as few of you, I believe, did some, I wouldn't even call, maybe 301 or 401 classes, college 401 classes on free cash. There's certainly not 101s.
I thought it was a fairly simple, straightforward.
Yeah, oh, I'm sure, but it's
So,
complex, yeah. 101 would be accounting is this, 404 is state has come in and defined this thing called free cash. So anyone want to give kind of an update on that? I know you're gonna come into an overall, but just those.
I'll wait until.
Okay,
Yeah, we'll wait until whatever.
Maybe we can all see if we all got the same story.
So just very generally, thank you very much for spending like 2 hours with us. And what happens is we came away, and then we still had some questions because the devil's always in the details. And when you're just looking at it from the top, it just gets confusing. So you clarified some of the discussion we had. And I guess when we get more into models and all that stuff, we can get into what I'm coming away with very top line.
So no other updates, we'll drop into, expectation is budgets are being created right now because they're offering up assistance to the liaisons. We'll check in on that in a minute. With the expectation that we'll start looking at the budgets in January. And then we'll do our updates from there. Want to jump into the free cash?
Yeah, and just a couple other things that have kind of come in since we last talked. So based on my discussions with the treasurer, our pension number came in. I think he said it was 7.7, which is around 145,000. 75 of that's the schools. So that number came in, it's a little higher than, I think we were holding maybe 6 or 7. But pretty close to what we were kind of anticipating. I know some of you guys, we've kind of mentioned this. We're holding 11-ish% for insurance.
Mhm.
It's probably looking closer to 16%.
Health insurance?
Health
Mhm.
insurance.
Really,
Okay.
And that would
Yeah.
increase that beyond what we're already holding around 140.
An
So,
additional 140? Gonna be
Above
needed?
the 11%?
Wow. Yeah, because I buy my insurance, like 65 too thin, but mine about 10%.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. That's good news. I haven't heard that.
Horrible.
No, that if we got 10%, I would be thrilled. So,
No, I don't have the same policy. I was
Right,
just
of
like, but I was,
course.
I've
right.
got Medicare Advantage, obviously. Oh, and my cost went up more than 10%. You
yeah,
know, we get an annual cost of living from Social Security.
Mhm.
Well, the health increase was more than that.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
my Social Security went down.
yeah.
I'm thinking,
So, we had
for
that
the
same,
average people, this is gonna,
it's gonna hurt.
it's really hurt.
yeah, okay, so no, 16%, that's no good. That's a bummer.
Yeah,
And that 16%, is that coming from Maya, or is that kind of, where are you guys
That-
hearing that from?
that was kind of coming from Maya. They were saying, they were estimating for us between 14 to 18.
Mhm.
And Kevin tried to be like, what do you mean? It's 10.
Yeah.
And they were like, no.
Yeah.
So he was trying, but we were kind of like, all right, split the difference. Probably say around 16. We've been kind of hearing about what other communities are hearing as well.
Mhm.
It's kind of ballpark.
Okay.
Just ballpark for now, but
So what's unique about this, is usually when we have a big one,
it's
the
one
next
done.
couple of years,
Right.
it's,
Yeah.
the seas are a little calmer.
Mhm.
That's 34% in 2 years.
You had a big one last year.
35% in 2 years.
I know, that's.
Yeah, you think about it like that, right?
Yeah, so that's-
Amanda,
A
do you
third increase.
happen to know if the other towns or Maya is looking at any changes in the way we provide health insurance to
Definitely. Yep.
moderate this, whatever that means?
Yeah, they've definitely looked into it. I don't know if they've come to a conclusion yet. I know a lot of plans have taken out some
Yeah.
certain drugs that have decreased the cost. I don't know that our plan.
I know the Medicare Advantage was, oh my God, it was a nightmare this year. They took away a lot of things.
Yep.
Well,
So that's just health insurance, but what about the property auto side? and that?
Property, since we were flat in property last year, I think they estimated around 4% for that one.
Okay, for this year,
And the other ones, we just haven't heard anything yet.
Although the pension one, I'm always frustrated by the pension
Yeah.
one, because the stock market goes boom and the pension contribution
goes
still,
boom.
and I'm
Yeah.
just. Like, they must be keeping it in Italian lira or something.
What would be cool would be one of these years,
Yeah.
because ultimately we have effectively two choices. Which is that we go with who we're with, or
Yeah.
we go to the state.
Oh,
Those are the only two choices.
we don't have, we don't have other choices, we can't fire our.
Well, you can, and you go to the state one. I mean,
Right,
more or less,
but-
there
but
there
they
aren't
can
that
go to
many, the
BlackRock
problem is there
or-
aren't that many that are certified
Right,
to
okay.
do this. And so, I mean, there may be someone else somewhere,
Right.
but in general, the two options
Right.
are available. But it'd be curious to see what the
Yeah,
performance is of both of those.
So like the guys managing the library fund.
Yeah.
Are having a great time with it
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
just on the property side, Amanda, was the 4% kind of expected?
Yes.
Okay, so you guys were budgeting for that.
Yep. Mhm.
You guys, I asked you this before, but I know you guys partake in the rewards program.
Yep.
Do you guys generally use the rewards money at the end of the year towards the premium for next fiscal year?
Yes. Yeah, we
Okay.
get a discount on that
Yeah.
every year. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
And then just echoing what you said, budgets are due from the departments on the 16th, so everyone's on the tail end of preparing them. We'll get them to you guys early January. Capital, Kevin's been updating that, working with the select board on it, kind of. We'll tie into our free cash conversation. Tax recap is done, taxes rate set, and I don't know if you saw my email, but the schools sent a proposed budget,
Mhm. Yeah, I saw it.
The elementary or the.
elementary.
Element.
So then on the free cash side, I mean, thank you guys. I mean, 4 of you came, which is awesome. So thank you. It's also good to just talk to you guys a little bit more too. So obviously prior year free cash was 1.8. This year it's around 3.8. Our biggest drivers are our local receipts compared to our local receipt estimates compared to actuals. Some of those big drivers in there are the time in the tax collection for motor vehicle demands and interest on taxes.
That was about a $400,000 swing.
There's a portion in the real estate and personal property, and then there's a portion like the motor vehicle
Yeah.
tax demands. I'd say in total is probably around like 400,
Okay.
500. That was one driver.
So just to be clear on that, just for everyone's edification, that would mean that had things been timed appropriately, it would have been 2.2 last year
Mhm,
about, and this year would be 3.4
mhm.
rather than 3.8.
Right.
Yep.
So you'd be 2 to 3, 4, just to
Mhm.
think about where we are.
Our building permits last year were awesome. They were up 120,000, which was crazy and really good. And
I'm just thinking of a couple of houses that I know of that were
Yeah.
built.
There's a lot of zip board if you drive around.
Yeah.
A lot of zip
Oh, yeah.
board
A lot of projects.
there. Yeah,
Yeah, one down here, one up on, yeah.
and there's gonna be a new one on Parsonage.
Yeah.
Not really
Hope so.
yet.
All goes well.
Yeah, let's get that
Yeah,
extra taxes.
please.
I only say that because I've been there.
Yeah.
And then the last one is our ambulance receipts, which we've seen a steady incline on. What I will say is that for 26, we've seen it kind of plateau. So I don't think we'll see that as like a big increased driver this year, just based on like the people we're serving. That's kind of changed a little bit.
But you won't see motor vehicle excise going up that as much.
No.
So as a question on that,
Yep.
On the ambulance, you're booking actual free cash, right? I mean, actual receipts whereas we're assuming is the running average, right?
Mhm.
So we have so first off, when we do our assumptions on income, we do it for a 3-year, like
I do a 3-year rolling
For
average,
average.
80%.
80, okay. And the earnings, the revenue was doing this.
Yep.
Have we now, what I'm hearing you say is it's kind of
Exactly.
flattened out. Okay, so
We've seen a little bit of a dip, just,
Okay.
based on, like,
Yeah.
some people have moved out of town, some other things have happened, some of the frequent flyers, if you will. So like I said, we've kind of seen like a plateau slash a little bit of a dip, not too dramatic, but I think we've kind of hit the number that
Okay.
will be,
This will be
yeah.
probably our standard.
With the current staff we have, like, that's
Yeah.
the number.
You use 80%?
I use 80% of the last 3 years, just because of things like this,
Sure.
like if they plateau. Another one that sometimes fluctuates quite a bit is, the meals tax, like it can kind of go like this. So I don't want to use like the last year, if it's like too high or too low, it kind of throws things around.
And we don't gain anything really.
Right,
I mean,
Yeah.
it's just shifting the money.
Yeah. I mean, and it rolls to be a little conservative and it rolls to free cash.
some other one-time revenues that have helped us out this year, again, a lot of these are like one-time things, so they're not gonna happen next year, like not guaranteed. But these ones are very much so like miscellaneous, for the extra trash bins people purchased, that added some good revenue right near the end of the year. The closeout, we closed out a school article for the roof, so it was about $70,000. And we got like $30,000 from the Board of Health Excellence grant that we no longer lead, but we got that money from the previous years that we did lead it. Again, another one of the bigger fluctuations is the tax collection, which is the real estate and personal property. Due to the timing difference, that's again, we're seeing a collection from last year, so one-time influx. And then the last one, which I've talked to you guys that have come and seen me about this, but it's pretty much a change in accounting method, which we discussed with the DOR and they agreed with our approach. So essentially, historically, we've always, when we've used money from stabilization funds or from ARPA or any outside sources, we've reserved for in those funds, which each fund is essentially their own like income statement, balance sheet, financial statement. And then there's the general fund, which is its own. So we've reserved for in that fund as well as the general fund before the money's been transferred over. So what that does is it's conservative. It's not, you can do it. It's just harder to see a real undesignated fund balance at the end of each year, which is why you've seen some of these fluctuations, because it really does depend on how much you're using of those outside funds. So the DOR said they'd agreed with the approach to not reserve for it in the general fund until the money's actually there.
Good.
And that kind of will right size it going forward. You won't see as much of that volatility with those outside funds.
So if I can play that back in an example that's not quite accurate, but to make sure I understand it. Ambulance stabilization fund a couple of years ago, we pulled out, I don't remember, $400,000 or $500,000 to pay for the fire truck.
Yep.
So in the year that was approved, we took the 400 and accounted for it out of the stabilization fund and accounted for it out of the general fund.
Correct.
Money was transferred from the stabilization fund to the general fund,
And then,
but it sat there because it wasn't paid until the following year, until, we got the contract signed and,
Right.
and the build
It's
was
not just
done.
from the contract signed, I think it's the accounting date.
exactly,
Right.
like it's effective 7/1, but the previous effective dates that they were historically using was 6/30.
Yeah.
So it's really like a day timing, but it does impact your undesignated fund
Right.
balance because of 6/30, which is
Right.
what they're certifying.
Right.
So that does create your kind of volatility,
Yeah.
which is why in the whole grand scheme of things, into a lot of the discussion that we've had is the volatility really should flatten out now that we've changed that approach, and the DOR is all for that because it's a real picture of where you're at a point in time. And the other thing is last year we did spend down free cash to the minimum.
Yep.
Where our plan is to keep that much higher, again, go up to 1.2, maybe even more, due to one, that volatility, and two, now that we have kind of going back to
Finish your comment, then I have a question.
just kind of to equal it out and get us back on the right path.
Yes, so then when we took money from free cash and put it into the stabilization fund,
That's a fun. That didn't have any impact.
that didn't have the double.
No.
Because this is really an asymmetric.
Asymmetric, yeah.
Okay.
Because free cash isn't considered a fund, right?
Mhm.
So that transfer wouldn't be a double
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
Yep.
adjusting entry.
yeah.
This is a one-time.
One time, and again, that's why we kind of recommend not spending it all.
Oh, the net result though is all it's doing is freeing up some more cash to be available to spend. It doesn't generate any more cash.
Right.
It just
Right.
recategorizes some cash,
Right.
if that's
Yeah.
the right.
And that's what I always thought free cash was I didn't think about the timing of the collection of cash or what fund it's sat in. I just thought of the revenue that's excess revenue that we don't spend or excess revenue that we get and we don't spend as much as we thought.
Right.
So that was, I thought, what the generation of free cash was. But now there's also, you helped us understand that, no, it's just the timing of what's available and undesignated and unreserved.
As of a certain date. Yeah, exactly.
Camera blocking.
Amanda mentioned one benefit of this, and that was to reduce some of the volatility in free cash. And Heidi and I have been working on some more details on this calculation. And one of the things Amanda gave us was the past years, how much was, I'll call it double reserved. And the number, boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom. It has absolutely no benefit other than increasing volatility. So what we should see is lower and, to me, more transparency.
Mhm.
Because we should be able to calculate what free cash is really generated. And I know I've talked about this before. That's really the key marker. That's what we have to spend.
And then you're not overtaxing or trying to create more revenue that's that's just reserved.
Because it swings both ways.
Exactly, yep.
Okay.
All right, so we were looking at 700K.
So 700,000 of the 3.8 was associated with this?
Yeah, that was what we had used of, stabilization money for that year
Yeah.
change, yep.
Okay,
The free cash this year, and I had sent an email on that. We did not take any double.
Nope, which is why, yeah, yep.
The 505,
Mhm.
was that what it would have been this year?
That's what we would have had a hit to undesignated fund balance this year if I had posted it like we historically.
Here's the question I raise on that.
Mhm.
The 505,
That's what so just for you guys all, the 505 is what we used in stabilization accounts approved at fiscal year 25 town meeting.
correct, that's what it would have been if we kept the old method.
Exactly.
It would have
yep,
been 505 less.
less.
So if I look at year over year change, the year before, the double billing was over 700,000.
Mhm.
So we're not seeing that 700, we're seeing zero.
Mhm.
So therefore, the net impact of free cash is over $700,000, I believe.
Yep, and then the prior year it was 300,000.
Correct.
Yep, so that's accurate.
I
Yep,
mean, 300,000, you
700.
know,
That's a big swing.
the volatility that adds nothing but
good.
false hopes.
Right. So I think, and like I said, like I don't think we'll ever, I mean, it would be amazing if we saw another free cash number this high, but I think this is just catching us up to like
Well,
actual.
1.1 million of it is due to timing
Mhm.
changes.
Exactly.
So that brings, that
Yeah,
brings it down.
700 plus 400
Yeah.
for timing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of exactly where we landed at like I think 2.628 is
Yeah.
kind of our sweet spot of like where it'll,
If we can stay there, that,
would be awesome.
yeah, that
I
gets
have-
us $1 million each year to deal with.
I have-
Although half of that goes away almost immediately as long as we keep our OPEB requirements where they are.
And also that minimum to hold on to isn't getting any lower.
Right, right.
So-
But that's why I took the
Yeah.
2 million, 2.2, and I just said we're 1.1 million.
Yep.
Available to spend
The
each year.
target is to reserve 3% of the prior year's tax levy.
Yeah.
So it's a number that
Yeah.
we have. we
And
can
I
see.
actually use the current year as like a more conservative approach when I do my number because it's higher, like,
Yeah, you got to be at
I
it.
know the
It's gonna go up
25%,
to 5%,
I know.
Well,
26%,
or actually. 2.5%, 2.5 plus. Any over it. All right, any other questions, comments on free cash in the model?
I don't know if I think I already mentioned that it's not an exact number.
Yeah.
Free cash. Okay.
It's an estimate, yep.
Yeah, then you can see it with the difference between your number, DOR number, as long as you're within 15%.
Yep.
Everybody's happy. It's that much of a,
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't realize it was that.
I
much.
did, I
knew
did.
it was,
15.
15, wow, that's,
Yeah, that's
I've
their
learned quite a bit.
materiality threshold.
so, well, that begets a significant, I mean, that's $150,000 right now. No, I'm sorry, that's $300,000 did swing right now off of what
right.
even put us at where we think we'll be year over year over year. That's $300,000.
Mhm.
So right there is, you know, even if we're 50%, keeping 3% of the total tax base really works out to be about $1.1 million or half of the amount. Third of that half is just could be considered
Yep,
the variable for the estimate.
which is why that's an important
Yeah.
financial policy.
And as our budgets, this is really important for all of us to think about as we know, we're continuing to get stretched and overrides are happening and not stopping because of the expenses. Free cash is going to get, historically, when this has happened in the past, not to this extreme, has been looked at by many of our citizens with a fine-tooth comb and a magnifying glass. And I think educating this importance of that variability for that portion of it.
And I mean, we issue guidelines based on what we think our revenue is going to increase. You know, we don't use anything else. We say, okay, then you can increase your expenses by, in this case, 2.25% for this and 11% for that. But we already see that there's going to be a discrepancy.
And the last thing I'll remind people is free cash is used for one-time items. We do not ever use it for, please,
Try not to.
Yes,
And I think what a common misconception that we've been dealing with is like a healthy free cash number does not equal a healthy budget
Mhm.
season,
Mhm.
so the two are not always the same.
Right.
yeah,
All right. Thanks for the time last Tuesday.
that was great.
Appreciate
Of
it.
course.
That's great. All right, so, liaison updates, and it's at the end of liaison updates, the only thing I really have left is I want to go over the calendar for January, February, and March and make sure we're understanding. I'll throw it up on there at that point. And just making sure that you're getting out to your various teams and departments to get them to come in.
The other thing, just before we get started on that, when we met with Amanda, she was talking about how the omnibus should be presented. That you wanted a little bit more clarity on how we wanted the model to.
Yeah, so I can connect with, because essentially what I'm doing is I'm aligning it with what Kevin and the select board have decided, right? So if you guys come to a conclusion on what you think is beneficial and have that kind of meeting of the minds with them, then you'll probably get a product that you are more.
When you say that for approach or for choices within the budget?
For essentially how previously you've done, above asks, that
Yeah.
extra tab,
Yeah,
like kind of like how it's presented.
okay. Historically, that's been a tension, a healthy tension, nothing more than that. Don't, but between wanting to understand the details versus wanting to let departments run their budgets without, manage their own budgets without being micromanaged. And so,
This might apply more to, does the omnibus have the base plus the unfunded plus the
Yeah.
all in, or is that separate? And then you talk about the other categories?
Hmm.
Because that's
Yeah.
where the switch was.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yep, and then.
but the need to have each of those and understand those was because we wanted to understand.
Right, but
the-
the question is, is the thing that comes out everything, or is it this? And then we talk about
Adding those, yeah,
putting stuff in. That's
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
not my problem anymore.
No, it, yeah,
Thanks.
wow, wow, you dropped that one.
It would be helpful to sort of agree on what they need to do to show it to us.
Yeah, okay,
Sounds like a topic for our next, I'll
sure,
fall back, but a January 5th topic should be aligning on those and understanding that.
so on January 5th, you'll probably have a budget.
Yeah.
So just to be thoughtful that probably won't reflect anything different than it did last year, if you will.
So the basic question is the over guideline tab, is that, and how that works?
How you present the
Yeah.
initial budget within 2.25%, or what each department is saying they need, and then when it's in excess of that, how do you account for that, either on a separate line, separate tab? Or, I mean, it's almost like if it's more than 2.25%, it should show that it's more than 2.25% and then explain it separately.
Sort of.
Yeah, that's
No, so that's, well,
Yeah.
the categories before, if you went to the omnibus budget, let me just bring one up and see what the exact categories are, just so we could look at those, right? Oh boy. If you open up any omnibus, which I think will take you a second to do. You might know the categories off the top of your head, Amanda, but it's,
didn't have it before it presented to us.
yeah.
I think the due date is technically the day. after,
Streetlights
but I
look good.
think it'll be
I just,
day. Sorry.
All right, so.
well, see, nobody noticed the change in the streetlights.
The light,
Oh.
yeah,
It is a real soft color,
Sorry, we didn't know.
huh?
Yeah. So this,
I know, it's wonderful.
Well, that's good, nobody noticed.
I got version 2.2.
yeah, so no, just there were 4 categories of budgets. There was the green, which was you had to do it. Of this, there were 4 categories of over guideline budget.
Oh,
So
yeah,
you put in, you had
the
your
man-
base budget, you had your green,
Over ask.
which is you absolutely sort of have to do. It's like your pensions and stuff come in. Then there was the orange, which was contractual going up, so
Other over guidelines.
other
yeah.
over guideline. Then there was a purple one, which was, I actually getting the word.
Unfunded.
Are there over guidelines,
Additional funds
additional funds
needed.
needed?
And then the other one was essential unfunded, which was like, that was the,
Yeah, the really,
The wish
we need
list.
the.
yeah. Sort of that was there before that. And it used to be omnibus would come in with the green included and the orange, purple and blue were out of it. And we talked about putting them in.
Mhm.
And then last year it came in, everything came in. And we had, and so,
Understanding Paul push to. pull.
right. And so when Kevin said, okay, well, this number drops, the omnibus would actually drop.
Mhm.
So that.
Yeah, it's very, it's just,
But,
it's addition versus subtraction.
right, and
Yeah.
just find the details versus
Yeah.
relying to a single
Yeah.
budget.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah. So I found this a modeled last year because town does not stick by their numbers in the over guidelines, right? It seems to be a negotiated thing. That adding them in made it simpler from a
model
technical point of view.
perspective.
Yeah,
But from an oversight perspective, you had less details. You were starting from, this is,
Yeah.
let's be blunt, this is what we turn to the schools and say, why are you starting with
Yeah.
start with the zero sum budget?
Yeah.
You know, build your budget up,
yeah,
not start, up and,
yeah. So it wasn't a hot button issue. It's just, but
Yeah.
I think Amanda's
Understand.
correct to say.
okay.
Grade B, C, D. Anyway, I probably took that longer than we should have. I apologize.
That's fine. So ultimately, from that perspective, there's still the open question as to how we handle that this coming year, this year. We'll figure it out. I don't think we want to have another meeting next week to discuss that. We can go into January 5th and
Okay.
figure it out along the way, because ultimately it's going to be work that needs to be just, you know, if they're still detailed what the asks are, then we can easily pull them out. If they're not detailed, then that's a different level of discussion. All right. Anything else for Amanda, those, before we get into liaison updates? Right, so I have the update on the elementary school from Catherine. And I'll share that. But anybody else have anything they want to share? Conversation?
I've got my schedule to meet with Jen.
Okay.
I guess Amanda told me her budget came in last week. So,
Check in on it.
yeah, so I think I think it'll be pretty straightforward, except, I mean, she just, she has some capital items that would be interesting to know a little bit more about.
Have you heard of any significant unexpected capital items? I mean, police are probably gonna ask for a car or two.
Yeah, they added a new car for the chief.
Yeah.
That was a new add. Otherwise, everything had been on the capital plan for the most part. But it's
You've got it. You've talked with them, so.
David, I met with
Yeah.
Bill last week.
I just
Liaison,
talked about
go.
what I'm gonna do. They actually do
No,
real work.
that's David.
Well,
David, go.
Well, we had a good meeting. Michael and I met with the police, the captain and the chief last week.
Good.
It was almost a 2 hour. It was very thorough. Primarily as an introduction, but also a tour to try to understand how the department functioned.
Mhm.
And as usual, I picked up a lot of new things just listening, which,
I was in a jail cell. I was in a Tahoe.
oh, did
Nice.
they go into jail?
Oh, they rolled out the whole.
I got the whole,
Oh, yeah.
I got the whole
I
show.
thought they,
The great one is when you're gonna bring your kids in and point them to jail and they'll let you throw your kid in the jail for you.
So that was good. So
Kidding.
we got,
But we got their first draft of the budget. We got
Okay.
their capital plan.
yep.
Uh,
Yeah, we didn't go through a lot of details on the budget. That wasn't the intent. The intent was just to make sure we had a grounding.
Any specific surprises? That we signed 2 cars, what I'm hearing. And it's not a surprise, but that's, Right.
They had a couple other things on there.
Yeah.
Let me pull it up.
Yeah, there's a number of capital items.
They have a
I'm
decent.
studying.
yeah, 2 cars are the big ones.
They got a cruiser, but they also for the chief wants a new car. But one comment, Amanda, you may pass on. These capital forms, I didn't notice it before. But the town form has a priority box.
Yep.
What the police did is go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In other words, top priority down.
Yep.
What other departments did is put a 1 there for all things, like fire. It's all
Yeah, Neil's
top
very clear.
priority.
These are his priorities in
In
order,
order,
which is helpful.
I think some of them will do 1, 1 and then 1 lesser. I think that they also have a different approach where they do ask for a lot of things and some
There should
departments
be,
don't
yeah.
ask for as much. Like Gary's, I mean, if he's asking for 2 items, they're probably both a priority, you know?
I found this very, very helpful. This is my priority is
Yeah.
the department. I think it should be standardized is my suggestion.
Mhm.
And I think there's value in both sides of that, right? Because if, depending on the year, the police could have where items 1 through 5 are things they absolutely must have,
Yeah.
right? But or there could be a year where they've got 1 through 3 and really none of them are must-haves,
Right.
right? So, but it's great having that. So it's like, how do you get both?
The fire did get a grant. It's not on the capital plan, it was for next year, but they got 175,000 for the breathing apparatuses.
Okay.
So that'll come off of the capital plan, which is awesome.
Jennifer's
okay.
finding grants, that's,
Which
Yeah, she's
one?
got another one for 40,000 the other day too. She's good.
Is this the?
she's got a retirement,
What was
gig
that
she can
we're
do
talking
after
about?
I
retirement.
know, find a grant.
Yeah, grant
When you
writers.
said the bid, you're talking about the tank filling,
Mhm.
the tank filling?
Yeah,
That was the one I had the big question about, is that
the
you don't buy your own compressor? to fill
self-contained
those?
breathing
Okay.
apparatuses.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
that one.
What capital item was this? I'm sorry.
The self-contained breathing apparatus.
Okay,
She
that's
got it.
coming off.
Yeah, she got a grant, right? It might stay on there, but it'd show that she got a grant.
Yeah,
So to
sure.
give her credit, I don't know.
So that's police. Anybody have anything else to update?
Mike, have you been putting Tom as the backup for fire?
No, you,
No, I'm not.
oh, you're not, it's Tom, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
You
I was
were-
actually, I had a question about that, because there's a fire 1 and a fire 2 on this list.
Oh, okay,
You're
sorry,
supposed to be fired,
I
too.
apologize, we did
What's
it
the,
last
what's the
year.
difference between here?
He's the primary, you're the liaison, second.
Okay, so I will send you, I'm.
He's the lead liaison, you're
Oh,
the second.
okay.
You're the fire, you're,
Backup.
I get it.
Let's go, right, sorry, it's just from last year.
One
Okay.
just general comment. We chatted with Neil and Dan about it is the contracts fix the hourly rate for all the officers.
Mhm.
If you look at maybe 50% is overtime is other
so
charges
duties.
at a premium. So we do not have any part-time
Mhm.
officers anymore.
Mhm.
We have full-time and we have reserve.
Yeah.
And there's another little category he has. They're less trained. It's really for details.
Yeah.
That's kind of a side issue, but the real question, and we talked about it, is reserve people get $26 an hour, no benefits. If I'm correct.
Mhm.
How can we utilize them better? And unfortunately, he said one of the blocking issues was, they don't want to work for that money on a holiday or weekend.
Mhm.
So the open question I hope Kevin and Neil are looking at is there a way we could incentivize some of the reserves to use them more effectively? Because,
I understand.
that's a huge,
Do you know, does the non-reserve just have first dibs on bidding for
Certain one.
overtime? Or is it this, sometimes I forget this contract, some of the contracts where they get first rights, others were that a minimum number of
Calls for.
calls had to be offered to them. They had to take or be offered, rejected before you could go to the reserves.
Yeah, so they both are, the fire and police both are different.
Yeah.
The fire, they do, I think, like, at least 80% of the calls have to go to the call first. So they're like kind of trying to force the call, they don't always take them.
Yeah.
The police, the full-time guys do get first rights on some of the bigger shifts, which I think is a little bit of,
Yeah,
Makes
it is what it is.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
they're just understanding it so that,
yeah.
But if you look at it strategically for a couple of years going forward, maybe there is a strategy we could work towards with the contracts, with everything else,
To make
it fair to the regular.
Yeah.
Maybe we need one less regular. I don't know. But Neil did indicate one of the drawbacks is he had trouble motivating some of the reserves to work on a holiday or weekend. They said, oh no, I'm going to my kid's soccer game.
Yeah.
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 But I found that interesting. I found one more detail online. I can send it around if you're interested. What is the average for municipal workers, what is the average percent benefit above salary and wages? It was a very nice, simple table, and admittedly, this is just an average. But typically, it was in the range of 40% until you get to the safety, fire and police. Then it was up to 50 to 70% because of insurance, because of early retirement, benefits, and they listed all of that. It was a
Well, that'd be interesting.
very interesting
Yeah.
little table. I was really, if you're interested, I'll send it around.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I know in private companies, it's about, benefits are calculated at about 26 to 34%.
Yeah, I used to say 35, and then each year I'm watching the health insurance and the other benefits.
Yeah, that's,
And I figured it's gotta be at least 40 or more. That's what,
No,
I don't know the number off the top of my head.
yeah.
Actually, I can probably look it up right now.
Yeah. All right, so from that side, that's great to know. We got police, we fire, we talked about. Anybody else have any updates?
MAPCO,
Yeah,
we've been informally meeting at Zoomies. And, we met on the October 31st and again on November 15th.
Yeah.
And they like the idea that we're all getting together and just sharing whatever our needs are. And, I had requested a enrollment count for in-district sped enrollment and, asked Melissa to get it for me, and she responded like almost immediately, I'm working on that. And then she had to get Bill involved, and then Bill got it to me by the 12th, because I
Nice.
said I wanted to be able to give a presentation to them on the 15th. And so they got it to me by the 10th,
Oh, wow.
by the 12th, and of course, Masco was concerned about how we were gonna use those numbers. And all I did was I used the foundation enrollment, the foundation budget per student, and did some calculations and presented something to our 3 reps. And we'll see where it goes. We're meeting again on the 10th in the morning, and then at 6 p.m. there's a
Yeah.
retreat.
meeting.
So see if they're using it in any way. I just think obviously it's in-district special ed and out-of-district special ed that are exceeding the foundation budget. But for regular enrollment, we're about right on target with what they spend per student.
are you gonna get historic numbers too, or just for 1 year?
I've just used the 26 budget
Okay, yeah.
because it's putting it into foundation categories, and I don't even know if those are the categories that they use. I mapped it to the best of my ability, and then I'm giving it to them to use as some source of, we need to understand why you spend this much more per student for this
oh, yeah.
or not,
Where are the areas that your percentage, so the foundation budgets, my perspective on them is the numbers might be off, but the ratios, the percentages of total is kind of what the state is saying is you should spend 13% on in-class support. My numbers are
Right, yeah.
12% on transportation, 35%, whatever.
Yeah.
And of your total budget, and then is that what you're trying
I
to do?
didn't do it as a percentage. I did it in the per pupil rates for each foundation category. And
So on a per pupil rate for
for regular
Reg
ed,
ed,
we're right. pretty
where
much
the
right on
foundation says we should be?
Yeah.
So the foundation says on a per pupil, if we pull them out, that we should be at about
target.
8.
10,000.
It can't. So then my understanding of number of per pupil then is off. 10,000 would imply with 1,500 that our total amount we're spending to educate the core students is $15 million.
So the foundation is about 13 million.
Right, so it's not the actual, it's not tied to the actual.
Right.
No, that's what I'm saying,
Oh,
but I don't think actually we're spending only $15 million to educate our 1,500 students.
Well, so the 10,000 is for regular ed. And then incrementally, it's supposed to be for in-district, 33,000 additional per student. We spend 24 in district, but there's like 300
But the whole foundation budget nets out to like 25 or 26 million or something. There,
Whole foundation.
or 30 something. It's significantly less than the 48
Oh,
million.
yes, yeah,
So if we are saying, if foundation is saying you should be spending 10 million or 13 million on on regular education. And we're spending 15. So we're spending 2 million more. And they're saying on special ed, you should be spending 33,000, and we're spending actually less, so that brings it down. Somewhere there's a whopper number that we're spending.
so we're spending. If we were to apply the foundation rates to our population.
Yeah,
For regular ed, the base foundation would be 17.6 million. We're spending 17.6 million.
do you understand, do you understand what I'm, there's something,
Because,
okay, so we spend so that would mean we're spending $30 million on non-regular ed.
the number of students that are receiving special ed services, the state says there's 60 of them. We have 260 students that are receiving in district. Now, again, how are they using those funds? How many teachers, how many?
But those 260, of which, yeah, there's the 260 out of 1,500. The 260 are those that are receiving in-district support.
Right.
So that means that 1,240 are not receiving, rounding, any support. First thing I've heard, that number's off, because I've been told, one number's off, I've been told repeatedly by the school that 25 to 30% of the students are receiving special ed services of some sort.
So
So
they've given me, 300,
Yes,
300
so,
students.
yeah, so 300 would only be 20%. 20%,
Plus another 60, so it's about 360. that are
3
receiving
plus 60.
In district and out of.
Yeah. Okay, so take that, but ultimately, the 260 then are not, so this is where this is breaking down, one of the ways. The 260 are are actually receiving regular education plus an additional amount. So that 17 million that you're counting doesn't include the regular education for those
No, it's.
260.
No, the incremental cost for in-district special ed is 6 million over what the state says the incremental cost should be.
But that's only because it's 60 to 260, not.
No, so when
On a
I
per
look at the per pupil is supposed to be like 33,000 incremental for each student. So if I were to apply that 33 million to 206, 300 students, it becomes a lot more. But because they're spending, and the incremental amount is only 14,000.
But 14 and 17 is 30, okay. Let's do, so if you sum these, ultimately what they're saying, what the foundation government, the way you're calculating it says, and we can do this offline, but
Right.
is that $17 million is being spent to teach the 1,200 and odd kids.
To teach everybody.
Base education.
17 is for everybody.
So that's base education.
Yes.
So they're saying, they being not necessarily the school, the foundation budget model, it is saying, I'll say it rather than people, it is saying $17 million is spent to do regular education.
Right.
An additional, so 30 million is for special ed, or what other categories are there?
Well, there's.
It's amazing.
Yes.
I mean,
Well, so you're saying for the 46 million? that we're
48 million
spending?
is where the
There's-
budget
Well,
is,
there's
yeah.
also, there's 2 million that's transportation that's not included in foundation.
Transportation at all is not included, I thought,
Right, not at all.
not for special ed either, or for,
Oh,
okay,
there you go, so,
okay, so that brings you down to 42.
yeah, I mean, if you, your idea will, you have a
43,
cost
42.
per kid that you're spending. and
Yeah,
and then
and
you
so,
could-
and
then you
that's
could
the
wrap
thing
them
is
into
that I
bits.
what I wanna understand.
Yeah, I wanna
is-
understand,
What I
Yes,
wanna
right,
understand is,
sense.
they're saying incrementally, 60, the foundation is saying 60 students should cost 33,000 each. We have 300 students that are getting additional incremental services. Well, how are they
so, but
doing that?
effectively, that doesn't, what you first need to be able to do is be able to tie all of those up to get to the $47 million
Yeah, and
number.
I've mapped that out.
Okay, so you can show where regular education is 17 million. Transportation is 5 million, so that's 723. Special ed in district is another X million, so that gets us up to 30 something. It'd have to be more than 30 something.
It's, the special education is about 11 million in total.
That's
They have,
inclusive
like-
in district and out of district?
Yes,
Okay, so 11 million, so we're at 30, so we're at 17.
which, again, their line items, they have.
Well, we're at 33, where's the next 15 million? 14 and a half million.
Well,
I'm sorry, let's do it offline, I'm sorry.
That's the fun.
Yeah, but,
It's a third of the budget.
to submit to them was how I broke down how I mapped every line item in their $46 million budget to what I thought were the foundation categories. Sorted it by those foundation categories, was able to see what they've sorted as special education teachers and then out of district.
Yeah.
And come up with, if you're saying that there are 142 at high school and 128 at middle school, how does that compare per pupil?
so,
So,
how many categories are there?
then I think,
11, I would love to see. Here's $47 million or 47 and change, $48 million almost. Here's how it gets to zero.
yeah,
Of the 11 categories, this category is this much, this much, this much.
and I'm intentionally not sharing it because I want them to use it. Hopefully use it in a way that they can explain to us why in district is 6 million more than what the state says. Now, we know
But
that
so,
the state is
yeah.
not, is the total that the state says we should spend is less because they're saying only 60 students should get this.
Yeah.
So we know that the dollars are insufficient, but per pupil, why are we spending more or less than a certain category?
but ultimately, I mean, for us, okay. Yeah, for us to be effective, for us to discuss with them, we need to understand how 47 and change becomes zero. So from those 11 categories, the state is saying you should fund this much here, this much here, this much here, this much here, this much here. Well, where are we off and where are we high and where are we low compared to the state? And understand how that gets to zero from a percentage. Otherwise, any conversation is not going to be of use because it's going to get focused on an item, not on what we care about, which is how much money is the educational system here costing us. So,
Heidi, those 11 categories are everything, building maintenance, utilities,
Well,
things like that?
yes, maintenance, pupil services, guidance, special education,
You know,
teachers.
People services, you could move that one way or the
Oh,
other
it's,
depending.
yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying is that there are certain items that I don't have the state gives a general ledger category, right? The crossover, how's you put them into those categories. I don't have that, so I'm just using their descriptions of instructional services.
Right.
I put that into one category, so I would like them to use it as some means of explaining how they're using these services that the state says you should be spending money on. And if they, you know,
in context, but my concern, I just want to emphasize,
Yeah.
we have to do that in the context of the overall budget. It
Yeah.
can't be single, we're spending more on special ed because we have more students. But this, okay, but what is that doing for and on one that we're underspending?
mhm,
Why are we underspending on that category? There may be a valid reason, right?
right.
But we need to have the total. Make sure we do that.
You wanna keep going on Masco or you want?
No,
Cause I
well,
had more on Masco.
okay, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that Tom and I are meeting with Highway, Parks and Cemetery and Water next week, this week,
This week, yeah.
Wednesday.
Okay, great,
Just get that in there.
great. Right, anything else on, anything other than that?
Conscom sent their salary wage increase worksheets 3% per annum. And, planning ZBA, Lynn said, there's gonna be more hours for her, so how that works out.
That's been a gradual, I know, a gradual push
So,
for increase,
Until we get the budget, I mean, there's nothing
Yeah.
really there.
but no, just pass along that we recognize, I looked over here, and so, sorry. Just that's been a gradual increase every year.
Well, because it was pulled away
Mhm,
completely a couple years ago.
mhm. Yeah. Okay, anything else?
They're just looking forward to the year-to-dates for trash, for the variable cost of trash, because I think the fixed cost is 4%, so.
Can we go back to your presentation, Trey,
We can,
for Masco?
sure.
There were two slides where there was I'll say a lot of discussion.
Okay,
I'm not sure there needed to be such heated discussion.
yeah,
One of them was the head counts.
yeah,
They disagreed with Che's number in terms of head count. Che was looking at total numbers. I think where the difference may be is some of the head count was shifted to state mandated
so special ed,
special ed.
back in 2017 or 16, they did a reclass.
The most telling slide to me, my eyes went wide open, was the one on the history of special ed out of district. And particularly the last column, it had percent of total students out of district. And 10 years ago, it was 1% of the students were out of district. 10 years later, it was over 2.5%.
We're at 4.6%.
How much?
Almost 4.6% this past year.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, in my mind, it was a 2.5 time increase.
Yeah.
Which is probably about right.
In enrollments.
Che asked the question, which I thought was very, very valid. What's the reason? Are we being too easy? The easiest thing is to stay away from aggressive parents, stay away from lawsuits and so forth. Well, maybe that's not the best overall strategy.
Yeah, we're not professionals, we're not qualified to do that, to
Right.
make that determination, but we're responsible for asking that question.
I think,
When in 13 years, you see a tripling of the percentage of students that are out of district.
Yeah. It's a
in
fair question.
perspective, out of district includes transport. It runs $90,000 to $100,000.
Well, the enrollment, now tuition right now is 90 to 100,000, transport's above that.
Oh my God, I'm getting.
Yeah,
It's just.
Yeah. so
Yeah, the average.
average tuition is almost $100,000 for these.
The reaction was very defensive, Che. I picked up on that. It's almost like.
Yeah.
No, I think it's extremely valid question they should answer.
Mhm.
I'd like to know what other school districts' percent is out of district. What's going on?
I bet other districts are similar.
You think so?
So,
No, but I think what's important is that rather than being defensive, they feel that we have the right to ask it, and they give it to us in a way
Right.
where they're protecting the privacy of their students, but we're concerned about the cost. That's where,
Yeah, we're not,
We're
we don't
coming
need any personal details.
right, so it's without making them feel like they don't know how to run a school No, just we need to understand why there's this why this.
We need their help, Heidi.
Yes.
We need the help to control the
Yes.
budget.
Just like I asked for those numbers and it was
Right.
hard to get them. And then they finally did, but they said with reluctance, because how are you gonna use them?
I think it's to the advantage of the student where possible to stay in district with their friends, with everything else, so.
Yeah,
We saw with the elementary school, sorry, Che.
good.
They did a magic job this year, rethinking, bringing 4 students in from Landmark and setting up a system and then offering it to Boxford and Milton. To me, that's perfect.
It's a great model.
And so I can't applaud it enough, the thinking and the effort on that. And it's a win for everybody.
And we broke our sacrosanct rule of using, on the override last year. And we gave extra money because we all were convinced that they were investing in something at the elementary school that we believe would have long-term financial
The reading.
benefits, the reading program.
Absolutely correct.
You know, we will work with anybody on this stuff.
And I think that's what we're trying to develop, a better relationship with our reps. To say, just we need that transparency, we need some accountability. And hopefully, as we keep moving forward, we'll get
It
something.
became very, very clear, a lot of elementary school moving to 7th or 8th grade needed remedial support. Now, my thought was, Masco and the elementary school should be working together.
And they,
Would
and
be ideal, and I think they can.
I think to an extent they do. Because there is one special ed director across all 3 towns at the elementary level. So there's an assistant superintendent,
Matt,
Dr.
Cava.
Dr. Cava, who is responsible for special ed for all 3 towns at the elementary level. So he and his peer at the Masco level can work together
that'd
and
be
implement.
brilliant, wouldn't it?
I think they do to an extent. I just don't know what amount. I don't know how much that happens there, but there is some of that. My concern, honestly, of all this in that conversation, and I was a little inflammatory in how I said this, and I probably could have said it differently, but my concern was the reaction and the fact that every one of the school committee members did not believe or stated, everyone who spoke stated that the school had no choice and had to accept whatever
Absolutely.
whatever the parents said about out of district placement.
But not all school members spoke,
Right.
because I have been to other meetings where some of those other guys are.
Yeah. The ones that, and that is very fair, but the ones that spoke all said that, no, we don't have a choice.
Yeah, I was there.
And I've, sharing more than I should, my daughter, I have signed IEPs every year for 7 years for 7 years, I signed
I
IEPs.
feel assigned an IEP, and there's definitely,
And
there's definitely a parental.
it starts with
Yeah,
the school saying, these are the goals and services we shall provide.
Yeah.
And then it finishes with the signatures of the parents saying, and it may be, I don't know if it's changed, but it was goals and services when I was doing it. And it changes with the parents saying, I accept these or I reject these.
It's the same.
Is it?
I have recently signed them.
Yeah. So,
and then I would also say, no one measures the efficacy of the outplacement.
and that, I mean, that's for the school committee to address.
Well-
That's for the school committee to address. That's not our place.
Well,
But
that's
to
firsthand
have them
experience.
say, oh, we don't have a choice, scared me.
Yeah,
So,
Right.
so I'll speak out of some,
Yeah.
not my personal experience. My mom was a special ed teacher in Boxford for
Same.
25 years.
Yeah.
And if she was looking at these trends, she would explain it as probably 2 key drivers. One, people move to Boxford, Topsfield, Middleton with the intent of getting an outplacement because they know the towns will pay for it. And the second thing is parents show up to meetings now, right off the bat, the lawyer and an advocate that they hire.
Yeah.
So yes, the school sort of has a choice, but they are under great pressure.
They're outgunned.
They would have to hire a lawyer to fight it, potentially spending more money than a year of outplacement.
They're outgunned.
They're so outgunned.
To go back to your comment though, do the Tri-Town have the reputation of high quality
They would hire an advocate, the advocate would tell them to move to Topsfield, Topsfield will pay for it.
Yeah,
Go back to your first comment though, that people moved to Topsfield because of the special ed support. Is that true?
Well,
Are we
The
providing?
experience,
That's-
the experience I'm speaking of was in Boxford, but I think
Yeah.
similar across.
Well, it's Masco at this point.
In Pasco, that,
Yeah.
yeah, you could hire a special ed advocate that would tell you to move to one of these towns because the town will pay for your replacement. Because if you lived in other towns in this area, they
Other
would not.
towns have a reputation of being more,
That's not a seat, that's been,
Actually,
Catherine Carlson will get the same.
so the short of this is that that is a decision that the schools
Right.
and the school committee has to make.
Yeah.
What scared me was the number of school committee members who made the statement,
boom,
we don't have a choice.
close mine.
And that scared me because I chose not to continue to fight that one at that point, because it's not the time or place. But I've signed these forms every year for, actually before that as well, at a different school district. So this is what it is. This number actually came down. They shared that this number this year. So this number at 69 was what was given to me by, the superintendent, the assistant
well, it
superintendent.
was in the budget, the
Yeah,
fiscal year
yeah.
26 budget.
Yeah,
So that's
and
what
he-
I started with also, and then they said it's 62.
Well, he then responded to me with, your numbers are accurate. When I reached out to him, he said, use the numbers, go ahead, use the numbers, yeah.
What did they say about the
So-
increasing trend though? That percentage is what gets
Yeah.
my attention right away.
Well, percentages, because it's dropping, right? Overall it's dropping. Overall
No.
enrollment's dropping.
But the number has doubled. It's dropped in the number,
The
we went
percent
from
of
32,
students Out
And
of
the-
district,
And the percentage of students is going up, so it's making it that. much
yes,
higher.
it's going up a lot.
yeah, so the number of students is going up. The enrollment, out of districts, the enrollment is dropping.
Mhm.
Now, what they did say is that the LOD for this year is actually gonna be around 61. Or 62 is what I
Well,
think.
that's
Yeah.
was the 26 budget, so. I
Do
don't
we
know.
have any data from other schools?
So anecdotally, that was that meeting Peggy and I went to, which was the North Shore
Yeah,
DESI discussion. And everybody would submit questions and come up with, they'd write a question and then they'd get up and speak to them. And they were just listening, right? They weren't saying promises there. But what struck me was the number of everybody around us is coming in with a similar story, maybe even more severe than our situation, especially if you tended to be from a gateway city for immigrants.
Mhm.
So that was, in the sense, I feel like our discussion is probably
happening.
pertinent, maybe even less severe than what's happening in other.
For out of district or
For
for
other.
special ed?
Yes.
Services.
Services,
Yes.
yes.
So, yeah, and, okay, for all services.
I mean, the people that were complaining,
Okay.
now I didn't hear Newberry going up there, so maybe they didn't say anything, but Merrimack was like, we're cutting fire and police.
On that last slide,
We don't do that, we
Okay.
just.
37 and
I went over.
minus-
That's the 37 is the increase. And an increase of 37 out of district placements.
Yeah.
And a decrease of 589
Yeah,
overall
okay.
students.
Okay.
That's remember.
So anyway, so and ultimately, at the end of the day, we are at a place where, from an enrollment perspective, and there were a couple of them who made very valid, our head count has not materially dropped at the school. Got to figure that out. They've got to figure that out, considering the enrollment drops. And they do make some very valid points that, if there's a greater need, if we had fewer teachers, or fewer support people, we could have more out of district placements. I'm happy, great, at least we're talking the facts at that point. So we'll see what happens here. And actually, I'd like to talk with you afterwards about how you want me to,
Well, I'd say one thing for the group that I came away from that meeting, because all three towns were talking about the same guideline number.
Yeah.
It would be cool if Masco certified two budgets. One at guideline and one at overrides, so you could harmonize across the three towns.
So a reminder, to your point, the three towns aligned on, well, we couldn't get there with our number, and we're gonna have to have an override probably to get there, but all the other two towns both said anything over 2.5, and you're going for an override in our town as well.
Yeah.
So,
So again,
that was communicated to them.
right, so when you're looking all across all three towns, if the whole budget goes over 2.5%, we know we're gonna have an override because our guideline is 2.25%. But that bottom line number for the whole budget is 2.5%.
Yes, I'm gonna correct one minor thing, which is we're not doing it off of their total budget, we're doing it off of what the total they're asking of all three towns. So it's called the community
Yeah.
contribution.
Right, so if they lose federal funding or something.
Right, that's
they might
on
be
them.
asking, you know,
If they gain extra funding, we don't benefit from it,
Yes.
they do.
yes.
So they, we could go off the big number, we could go off of the community
No,
contribution.
The community contribution, if the community contribution across all three towns is more than 2.5%.
The sum of that, yeah.
There will be overrides, ours will be
Right.
based on our guideline of 2.25%.
Yeah.
But, okay,
So if it comes in at 2.4, we're the only ones doing it override.
Correct. And you heard some of our numbers that we don't have a choice, right? You
Yeah.
just heard the 16% number that just
Yeah.
killed us.
So, all right. No, I was just gonna say, one, could you send this presentation to me? I couldn't make it to this meeting, but I am very interested in it.
Yeah.
As well as hearing what the sort of controversial points were.
So the controversial point really, well, first off, was the head count. They didn't,
Yeah, show them that slide
This
too.
was,
I mean,
that's what, I'm curious about it because the numbers should be numbers, so I'm curious
so,
what's.
so what they're talking about, when they do the numbers, they talk about the total number of teachers. And they say our teachers, number of teacher enrollment as teachers have gone down,
So they make a
They-
distinction between staff
staff and teachers. And their speaking point is that teachers enrollment has gone down. Enrollment's dropped by 28%, 27%, and they're saying teachers have dropped by 17 or 18%.
So the difference is staff, like aides and stuff like
Aides.
that? Okay.
Yeah.
Which
Now-
do cost significantly less
Yeah.
than teachers.
Now, the issue is that in 2018, one of the numbers they used, there was a reclass of about 25 people that were aides and support to regular education that were reclassed to special ed. And so that's counted as a part of their drop. I'll show you.
Well, that's
Yeah, well,
interesting.
trying to
Yeah.
do the per pupil, to see how many are getting these extra
The
services.
presentation was your total numbers of FTEs.
yeah, and I mean, I was just going straight off of FTE
But
because,
they're saying there's a more nuanced argument.
yeah,
Right or wrong, that's
Yeah.
what they're saying.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, they'll let you tell you the model of education is shifted. We can't.
yeah,
teach
which,
what we did 10
Right,
years ago.
yeah.
all I want is us to start
Special ed
with,
placements are consistent with that. There seems to have been some
Right.
shift in what's going on.
let me see if I can pull this number, because I have it here somewhere, head count, historical budget, staffing, and enrollment analysis.
I think a daughter teaches special ed.
I have a mother who does it, I have a sister who does it, I have a brother who
Yeah, no.
teaches and shop and wasn't.
Foundation is a calculation. They expect, I think, what is it, a quarter of the population, a quarter of the enrolled to needs, no, what, 17% of the population of the enrollment needs special education services 25% of the time. So that's how they come up with their per pupil, you know what I mean? Or the number of students.
17% of the population, 25% of the time.
Okay, so that's a third bucket. There's general ed, there's hybrid, and there's full, gross.
Right, but the in district is.
Yeah.
And by all measurements,
50% uses it 25% of the time. And so that's why we want to know,
Yeah.
how come you have 6 million more than that? What is, how many, how are you calculating what you need? There's gotta be some spreadsheet where they're saying, we need the IEPs of X number of students need this many people.
Well, especially because the IEPs are very specific. It's like this student gets this service for 30 minutes, 3 days a week. I mean, you could map this all out to the exact
That's what you
FTEs
would
needed,
think
right?
that They had to, right, to come up with their number.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so we're
yeah.
just trying to get some
Right.
support on that, to understand what that. I'm not saying it's not necessary, we just,
No,
it's
well,
expensive, so let's
if someone
try.
told you this is the student population you have, and these are the ratios,
Right.
if you were to build a staff from scratch,
right,
what would it look like?
right.
Right? It'd be interesting to compare that to what we actually have. Yeah.
So let me see.
We
this.
shouldn't have to calculate that. They can tell us what they do. They have to, because that's why they're building their budget, right?
Yeah, they've built their approach over the years, responding to needs and state and so forth, so in their mind, this is, the best
Well, they have
structure we
to
could have.
budget every year, so.
That's your mother about a special ed. Is it better for the student to be in the school
So,
or to be out of the district?
Depends on the-
I've always thought,
I think it depends on the student.
so I think
Yeah, and the parent.
everything else being the same,
Yeah.
but they're not, right? They're not the same,
Right.
right? Everything else being the same, being local is a better benefit, right?
that's what I thought.
But they're not all the same. If they educate, if you can't give the level of service that the kid needs, that's more important than the social.
Yeah, we
Mike,
have,
yeah.
I know somebody in absolutely has to go out of district.
Yeah.
Every case is so unique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sorry.
And you come up with
And that's
what's the
what the
most efficient
discussion
way to
about
do it.
how the state should handle
Depends
special
on the
education
need, is the
funding.
problem.
Yeah.
So what a large.
Okay, so-
Separate it out or something,
I think-
right?
Well, I think the
You
only
have enough.
go into competition with these schools.
Create a program internally.
great state schools to go into competition for this,
Yeah.
right? I mean, Landmark's charging $100,000 a year.
They can.
Maybe go into, I don't know.
No, I think they're,
I don't
yeah,
know.
but we're not gonna solve that.
That,
on the
yeah.
Masco budget.
But-
I kind of feel like we're,
Burdening the
You
taxpayer.
know, kind
The best thing
Oh,
either here.
There needs to be a state or
of-
federal.
we're not trying to be contentious, we're trying to.
Because it's too much.
But, so anyway, that's Masco. Talks will continue on that. At the end of the day, I am not advocating that they should be harder or softer on it, but I am advocating that they have to know what, and acknowledge that when the school signs that piece of paper, you are in effect saying the best thing for you is to provide, we can't provide those services, you need to get them somewhere else.
okay.
That's, that's the comment that caused them to.
Yeah, I thought they responded overly
Yeah, they were,
energetically,
they were
That's
energetic.
very polite.
just
But-
given my own, but I,
There's some of our own school committee too.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. I mean, I'm not gonna, but I'm trying to find the enrollment figure. Here they are.
they actually didn't drop this year.
You're not sure.
Yeah, I know, I wanna
Oh, okay.
get it, I'll get it right there and, this is the numbers from them. Where
I mean, in 1547 was in the budget.
yeah, there's,
Yeah,
so between the years of
The numbers.
between years of FY 2018, I'll share it. This is the one that, and I'll scroll this back down to a level. And then we'll be done with this stuff for now, unless someone wants other stuff. So if you look, what they're talking about is this row right here, when they say that, head count, which is general education staff, has dropped by 23 teachers, general education. But if you look,
It's just the bottom line.
yeah, and so I've been calculating off of this, which if you look up to this was from a year ago. If you look, it dropped by 2 in total,
Yeah.
right? Some of the members of the school committee were saying, no, we went from 136 to 113. Okay, so this includes general ed
It's all that
paraprofessionals.
bottom line, general ed.
Look at this. Yeah, but if you look at this number, at the same time, this has gone from 74 up to 87. So it's a reclass.
Yeah.
You have a reclass of those, 13 of those were reclass of those 23. 13 were reclassed from general ed to special ed.
so it's the same person, just,
I don't know.
yeah,
The position was
Yeah.
reclassed,
okay.
right? So if you look at general ed paraprofessionals, if you look at some of these things and their drops, the increases in the special ed paraprofessionals went up by 6, a large percentage.
The
So,
numbers tell a story, but they have to fill in the details.
right,
I
right.
mean, it's like, that's a starting point,
Yeah.
but we're not asking you that you shouldn't operate the way you need to. It's just,
Start
you
from,
need
yeah.
to tell us the story.
And the story isn't, and this is my problem. Ultimately, the story in my mind isn't teachers went from here to here. It's no. Explain why your staffing went from 255 to 250 and now down to 240 something. You can say there's been an increase in special ed services and we needed to move these people here. Or there's a reclass.
That happened at the elementary too,
Yeah.
that year when they called it, you know,
Extraordinary
extraordinary
yeah,
special
that
ed.
was,
Yeah.
but that was.
well, but we,
Yeah, that was.
we didn't,
Yeah,
But
that,
you know,
Our student to teacher ratio has just shrunk.
student to employee
To
ratio.
employee ratio.
Yeah.
Has just changed drastically.
well, it's dropped, right? Well, it's dropped because we've lost students.
Right.
So,
So,
yeah.
And remember,
Their argument is-
this past year, which was FY 27, this one that they did drop, this number drops. The 250 actually dropped. I don't remember what it is, but it's like 242.
They lost a librarian or two.
the librarian is one of
I think
the
that-
Spanish, I think, or language.
So, yeah,
So
Well-
that's a bigger drop in 1 year than it's been over the last.
Yes,
Yeah,
12,
they
this
cut
whole
a few
period,
yeah.
positions,
yeah, well, because they,
but they
base
might
cost
be
went up a
rehiring
lot.
them.
yeah, but a couple of them, the problem is a couple of them weren't structural. They were, we'll delay hiring.
Right, yeah.
So anyway, I don't want to,
you know,
you know, I'm beating up on them a little bit. Ultimately, we need, I think we need them saying, here are our numbers, to creating the full story, not cherry picking a piece of it, but start from your base numbers, your three base numbers, enrollment, budget, and headcount. And then you can build a story off of each of those and explain the justification, but ultimately those are the three.
Okay, I think I just like to have them have two budgets.
Yeah.
But then, so then they're not, so the way to build it now, if it got rejected, you'd have to throw all three towns into another something. Yeah.
We have any data or knowledge as to why the long-term trend in population drops so much? There's a lot of anecdotal comments I've heard. But do we know for sure? Because it seems to me that some of the other towns between 8th grade and 9th have dropped off more than we. Like Middleton, Oxford.
So,
If it hadn't,
Yeah.
we wouldn't get that bigger percent
yeah,
increase.
yeah. I mean, we haven't gotten explanations on that piece.
That's a significant, I don't know how much of a drop.
I do know last year there was an unexpected increase, significant increase in the number of kids that went from Boxford that went to the tech,
Okay.
like 20, more than expected. So, and that's not, you know, that looked good on their Masco budget.
Yeah.
But they got
They got whacked.
whacked on the other side, which is ironically this about the same cost to them.
Yeah.
I guess where I'm really going to, if there's a real driver for some parents to send their kid to private school, why? You know, can Masco improve or what's going on?
Yeah.
I don't ever remember it 20 years ago
So,
like this when my children went through Masco.
Mhm.
That's just my,
Yeah,
I think it's heterogeneous reasons.
huh?
I think it's heterogeneous reasons.
yeah, I don't know.
But I think there's some group that want the sports. Some group, I think, houses in Middleton are getting bigger. I just think Middleton's there's more wealthy people moving into Middleton.
I heard that.
And, I don't know, and then,
We have not gotten any
Yeah.
details that can point
Yeah.
to
I've had,
a specific reason.
On a little more macro level, there is like a decrease in birth rate.
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, we're down to under 2.
So,
The birth rate is now down under 2.
you know, I think, yeah.
So the birth rate is at 1.8 or 1.9 per family.
Or less.
Yeah, so what that means is we're actually constricted, without immigration, we're a constricting country.
Yeah, sure.
So,
Yeah.
and people tending to have their kids later as well.
I don't think it's bad if they choose to go to local schools. It doesn't
Yeah,
bother me particularly if people are leaving Masco.
If they're going to private school,
Anywhere.
Yeah.
If they're being homeschooled, if they're going to St. George's in Boxford.
They're still paying parents.
right, I mean, hey, and in some of the it's,
Yeah.
It's a.
all right.
Right.
Yeah.
So, going through beyond that, let me see if I can find this, text, just to give you an update. Catherine sent it. For elementary, I received, thank you, a copy of their guidelines. I'm curious if it had gone out to the accountants and to the town administrators. It didn't go to anyone else, so it was forwarded. So I don't know, Catherine get it as well, or?
I sent it to you and Catherine.
Okay, good.
Good.
Yeah, that's as it should. Catherine's a liaison. I appreciate you sending it to me as well. But I wanted to, but she said they're basing their budget on guidelines, not needs. I put that in quotes because of their fantasy budget of the past. They are working through operations to cover the roughly 152K shortage that they currently have or seeing. Can they cut further, or do they need to go for an override? They don't know what they're going to be able to do, but they are concerned.
So it's the 2.25 plus 100.
Right now, yeah. That's where they start their budget based on where their needs are. And so they're trying to work down to guideline.
What's their target on the two stabilization accounts?
They're not funding from there, and they're continuing to add to them. But other than that, I don't.
Yeah, but add to what point? I mean, we have minimums, you know,
Yeah,
and that'd be easy to estimate too.
yeah.
Their needs, but I've raised this repeatedly. Do we really need to kick in 100 a year? What's their goal? 300, 400?
Well, so one of them, they're almost at what are they at now with these three they're gonna be 3/4 of the way there, I think. For their, for the quote, the one of them that has 130,000 is their max amount, 140,000 is their max. They're 3/4 of the way there.
Oh, yeah, one of them has a cap on it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The other one does not though, right?
I think it does, but it's not something we're gonna approach anytime soon. You know, I mean, it's like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, you know, or even more even. But, it's not
Yeah.
something we're gonna approach anytime soon.
Okay, maybe we don't want to get there. Maybe
No.
it's not appropriate, but
No, because on top of everything, at some point, you put the money there for the rainy day. Well, it does rain. And you wanna use it on
how
those
much do
rainy
you need
days.
for a rainy day?
Yeah.
I'd like to get that number.
So that was, they're working their budget. The first draft came out, I got it today, so I haven't looked at it, but I'll defer to Catherine on that. Anybody have anything else? Last thing I had was a calendar before we are done.
And what, is it, I'll probably attend the listening session Saturday, usually elementary and Masco are there.
Oh,
Are there any particular questions you'd like me to raise with them?
when's the session? I might go to the library this week.
Yeah, at the library, and you, 10 o'clock usually,
Yeah, yeah,
11:30.
For elementary and Masco.
Right.
So Heidi, anything for Masco or, I mean,
Well, maybe after the 10th, we'll have more questions, but I don't know right now, you know, I mean, I just would like
Yeah,
to.
usually it's Bill there. Bill is usually.
uh-huh.
elementary, I don't have any yet. I defer to
just-
Catherine and Bill. I mean, Catherine and Heidi.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
Would it be okay if you shared that budget with me?
Sure. I mean, it's forever. I want Catherine to look at it and then
Okay.
have her, you know, she's the liaison. It should be
Right, fine.
coming out from the liaison, so.
Maybe you heard, Shay, we picked up when we were in our free cash discussion from Kevin,
Yeah,
that Masco did get approval from the state.
yeah,
for
yeah,
matching, what do you call it? M something?
SBA.
Yeah.
No,
And I said, oh, 50 million, Kevin went,
it's gonna be a big number.
and then the controversy is going to be whether they have the turf field in or out.
That's part,
They've agreed that they're gonna raise the money for that. They agreed that, I mean, that's, Zilli and Bill promised that,
They agreed a big contribution, so it wouldn't cost us anything.
right, I mean, yeah.
On the turf field, they did repeatedly. That was the promise if we funded the engineering.
Yep, that was the,
Yeah, but there's a lot of people that are against the turf field.
Oh, yeah.
it's,
Oh, I-
So
right,
they're
but
not gonna get the contributions until it's firm that.
I think at the meeting,
the-
they spoke at, Joe from Boxford acknowledged they still have to do their fundraising.
Yeah.
Their donation round.
But at that meeting, they said no capital requests.
Hmm.
That's what they said, Jay.
Not this year.
Not this year,
Right.
no
And
additional.
now I'm hearing 50, 60.
No, that's separate. So that was, no, they did speak to that. They were saying no additional
Okay.
capital requests. The 50th, they were going to be asking for this year, the likelihood is they're gonna be asking for the funds for the OPM. And or I'm gonna mix the two of them up because I forget how they said it, but either the OPM and or the study, the plans. Creating the plans. And they didn't give a number. I could be wildly wrong, but based on what they was saying, I'd be surprised if it's more than a few $1 million that they're
This year.
looking for. Yeah, this year,
In order to get.
to get the
major-
plan so that they can
major
then
aspect of it.
go for the big ask.
Yeah, I miss that.
I think that those that were there, I think that, is anyone thinking differently? And or is that, well, more important, does that align with sort of what you heard in that meeting?
So I have to be careful going to those meetings because I couldn't hear. So I think I'm gonna wind up listening online because I was surprised they don't have mics or anything. I couldn't hear anything.
Yeah.
My hearing isn't great anyway. And then it was just quiet, so.
Right, all right, so I'm gonna share so a good point on their capital, I'll share the,
So I misunderstood that. I thought we were gonna get a 50, 60 million dollar. Isn't that the way it sounded? Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
thought.
yeah, I don't think they were gonna get more than that. The question is just this year, instead of asking for all, because they don't have a plan. So the ask is get the money so we can go create the plan, get the approval from the SBA.
Yeah.
No, when I say,
Figure out the
don't,
details
no,
later.
don't take that, that was not meant in a bad way. They know what they need to do, but you have to put together a project plan and inspect
Yeah.
around it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not.
The project is 5 guys in a room,
Yeah,
I'm not sales would do
or
that.
5 people in a room, sorry.
Oh, God, and they get away with it with their
yeah,
customer.
yeah. But,
Give me the PO, I'll figure out the details for you, don't worry
Yeah.
about it, Chuck. And the customer says, okay.
Yeah.
That's how life sciences work.
It's unbelievable.
Not your end.
So, we're at December 8th. January 5th is review the model with guidelines and known numbers. Identify what is missing. Understand the initial budget versus what department needs. So it's really just reviewing the budget. Right?
And are the three of you going to meet to have it to us before the 5th so we can look at it?
We can target that for sure.
Mhm.
So that, so then clarify and ask, we'll get to that meeting and we'll say, this is what we provided for guidelines.
Yeah.
And this is what we now know is, hesitant to use the word reality, but this is what people have asked for. And we'll see the big difference.
Do you think we'll have that by the 5th?
The only issue is on Kevin's calendar, the due date is the 6th. So,
I was gonna say the
He knows when a
6th is
Monday and a Tuesday is.
Yeah,
Tell him to
so-
put it on Monday. Well, even if it's Monday, you guys aren't gonna be able to
get it all.
get it all
in time.
updated.
So,
Well, I'm going to, you guys are getting it on the 18th, so too bad. So, review model
Yeah.
and review first
Yeah, what is the omnibus
Draft.
pushed out?
of budget.
the date is the 6th on the schedule, like, I'm sure
Yeah.
there was a reason.
Oh, then we should probably just delay our meeting a week to give people time to.
I would wonder if he wants it to go to the select board before you guys, is what I would imagine is, because the
Yeah.
select board should have a meeting on the,
Okay,
When do we get the budgets to go, I forget now, to go review them with the department heads? You know, we need the,
in January, right? January, February?
so it's supposed to be January 5th is when, or 12th, the 6th is when it sounds, so it sounded like the 6th.
So we really can't meet with the departments before then.
Well, you could, I mean, you can meet on what they've submitted. Right? I mean,
I mean, I can talk to Kevin to see that,
I,
Is this the normal time of the? Yeah.
I would doubt that we can get it to you before the fifth, only because of the holidays.
Oh, yeah, that's the first Monday back.
The first
Yeah,
Monday
yeah.
back, and I don't know how much we'll be able to catch each other during that time, cause.
Slide.
So,
well, we can push that.
Just put 5 and 12 to 12 and 19.
Do we just do not meet on the fifth?
the 19th is a holiday.
That's why we don't have the 19th.
That's okay. We're tough.
I'm not, no.
We meet on a Tuesday if need be, or like
I'm traveling that week. So I can meet from the worst city in the country. So. Vegas.
Oh,
I think that's the worst city.
Yes, it is.
I just wonder what city came to everybody's mind.
No, oh, I would take Chicago, not 10 times out of 10 over Vegas. I would take Spokane, Washington. I've been to. Take Topeka. I don't know. I'm trying to think of where, Bugs Bunny used to say the bad town was when I was a kid. No, yeah, back in Vegas.
Like Newark or.
No, I would rather be in Newark.
Okay.
I do not. So I'm back there all that week,
That first week, January 5th.
January 5th. So
Let me save some cash. You can replace it.
I've been there. I flew in Sunday. I flew out Friday of this past week.
So you're.
Do you know how much money I spent? I built.
The budget
bet?
on the 16th.
I bet, I'm sure you wouldn't, but,
Usually they're-
But I'll tell you what.
but that would be,
I get them on
Yeah.
the
for your
16th.
for your
And
company,
then.
for you.
That's why we're there.
And
So,
then,
I play the
so
slot.
really, I probably.
To get free beer.
I don't
So-
play.
all right. So what are we thinking? We can do a remote meeting this day and do a check-in, or we can not meet.
Wait, so
Okay.
we Get it.
So that means we're still expecting, so I'm gonna change this and I'm gonna put in the calendar. January 6th. Receive, RECE,
What holiday is that the week after?
MLK, right?
Yeah,
the 19th is MLK.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, receive,
Oh.
budget, town budget.
Ooh. The time on the 26th, I'll be in Australia, so.
Receive
do
town,
you?
town budget, deliver, model updated for sharing by 6, 7, 8, 9,
Mhm.
That's
10, 9. Giving you guys,
3 days?
yeah,
I thought it should snap in pretty quick. Yeah. Easy to say.
Do we need to talk about
I'll be, I can help.
Yeah, no,
the use of the free cash this year?
I gotta use the holiday break for
Okay.
my company's budget, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna just do FinCom as
I
well.
think we need early to talk about it.
I'll be in full modeling mode that holiday breaks.
Okay.
Full modeling?
Well, I'll say I gotta do my company's budget over the holiday break too, so I'll just go roll right into FinCom.
So,
so free cash. We can also put that in here. Review and alignment with budget, first draft of budget. So we can do them and look at them together.
right.
You know, here's your budget, here's the other asks, here's our free cash. We're informed and starting our process with
That's
informed
your- yeah, that
information.
Summary, that recap.
I know Kevin wants a time to go through the warrant with you guys earlier rather than later.
That's not a bad idea. On the 5th, go through the warrants. That's not
The potential ones you could.
that's not a bad
It
idea at
depends
all.
on, does he have a meeting though? If he has a meeting,
Does he? I don't know.
I can look and see.
Cancel it, so.
Well, he better, because he's gotta get us the budgets the next day, so he wants to.
So we're saying on the 6th, we will review.
We're not gonna have a meeting, that's just, the idea is,
Okay.
that's not a meeting, but we're gonna receive the town budget.
Yep,
I'll put no meeting, just,
go.
yeah.
Will that go to all of us or just
I would-
you and then you distribute it to the three modelers? or-
I am going to ask that it go to the modelers,
Right, okay.
and that, because I'm in the worst city in the world in that day, and my days suck. Although I'm going to I'm at a cool conference, so I'm at CES.
Nice.
Second best conference we have.
Okay.
South by Southwest is our best.
Gee, you sound like you hate
And
your
then
customers.
by the 9th, it would be shared with the rest of us?
The expectation would be budget gets sent on the 6th and is shared to everybody. Whether that's a pass through or just shared, I don't care. By the 9th, they've aligned the model with the budget
Yeah.
and we have an alignment there. Okay? So the open question is, do we want to have an additional meeting on the 5th? Or they probably are meeting. I'm almost
They're
certain,
meeting.
I'm almost certain they are.
The select board.
Select board in, because they're gonna go over the budget there, the first draft. So I would say we can't meet on the 5th. But we need to do one of those meetings where we do the warrant.
And have him just do it at the top of the meeting, maybe?
No, I would like that. The problem with that is we have people coming in. It's not, I don't feel guilty about having Kevin stay late. I feel guilty about having
That's fine.
Okay,
others stay
actually,
late.
if we have Kevin on the warrant separately, that gives us more time to do the other work, because sometimes Kevin goes
Mhm.
a little bit long.
Yes, when,
I keep that.
when?
Oh, didn't we just have the 5th on there?
We can't, so he's meeting the 5th with school
Oh,
committee.
oh,
I mean, with,
All right.
town hall, but it was like,
Okay.
The January 12th meeting is a long one. Can that be a long one?
you can do a long one on the 12th there and put that in.
Okay, I
Just punch a long one out and then,
That would be a work session, so they'll start earlier.
yeah. And we can do the review the town budget's free
Yeah.
cash and then he comes in and does.
flexible, I'm just trying to.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you.
Well, and we did just do like kind of a high level free cash review now.
Yeah.
So in the warrant, we'll tie in the piece of like what we're using free cash for. And I can have that updated funding sources scheduled for you guys. for
Yeah,
that
that's
meeting, too.
great.
Yeah.
And when you say review town budgets, that when we're like looking at all the over asks?
We're looking at the whole budget.
Yeah.
Everything,
Okay.
the whole budget, understanding what's there, looking at over asks. This is our first.
Exceeding our 2.25%.
How much under the town has become able to cut out of this? Police and fire on January 26th.
Right.
Oh, that was one thing, Masco, going back to Masco, we did, and it was, I don't know if they're gonna act on it, but the one thing that was well received was our imploring them to give us a budget earlier. A week earlier, and we had an explicit ask from the three towns to move their cycle up by a week. Heidi, it's probably something you follow up on, both. My ask would be both to our school committee members and also to the superintendent.
Yeah.
Or reach out to the superintendent and assistant superintendent saying we discussed this, and as the liaison from one of the three towns, all of whom are saying the same thing.
And what week is that specifically for me?
Yep. It is March 16th.
So by 3/16.
Yeah, and explicitly what we said was, hey, hang on, I'll go pull this, give me a sec. Is this the one or is this yeah.
Oh, I see. I'm just thinking through this order of operations now. So we'll go through January 12th with the town budget, but we still won't have the schools
Yeah, we don't get this
for another
till March.
2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get drafts of them, but we don't have, and it's similar, so we will get a first draft of the school's budgets in February. Well, no, we already have a draft of the
Oh,
elementary.
we know
schools.
the nut
Right.
right now.
Actually, the elementary schools beat the town for first draft of budgets.
When I opened it, I was like, they're at guideline. Whoa. But
Yeah,
then I read.
but yeah,
In reality,
Um,
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, this was last year, that's why this was last
Okay.
year's presentation.
Okay, I'm now comprehending the challenge of not having
Yeah,
Yeah,
scope.
right. Pretty big rock.
Okay, we're doing all this work, but you really don't know the full picture.
Yeah, right,
at
so the
the
big
end.
rock
Yeah.
comes in.
You
yeah.
can point to somebody else now.
420 over a guideline. Well, I mean, 352, but a total 430 over.
trying to find,
Last
sorry,
year.
one quickly and
But
see
they
where
show
the
us the
date was.
budget.
That's good.
So they need to have, they need to, we've asked them to provide us with an approved budget by the 16th. Which is 1 week earlier than they were committing to do previously. All right, so then we've got police and fire, public works, treasures, anything that's in bold. Well, actually, I'm gonna change all these to not bold. Going forward, if they're bold, it means, and you have given me confirmation that they are coming.
So you'll send this out
Yes,
cleaned up, and then we can confirm with our liaise.
yes.
We can liaise with our.
Yeah.
whatever.
And so none of these are stuck. I think police and fire, you guys had already started those conversations about the possibility of when they were available. I remember, but none of these have to be on these dates. So when you go out to your liaisons, this is only because this is when they were last year. Okay, but you know, the COA, I'm less concerned about when they come than when police and fire come. Unless COA has something new that I don't know about. Well, right now it'd be March 2nd, but they may not even, I mean, last year was because of the vehicle and
Right, yeah.
that we wanted them to come. All right.
Mike's favorite.
Anything, so as of right now, we're not gonna have the January 5th meeting because we're not gonna have much there. Budget won't be out yet and town will be we'll get it on the 6th. January 12th will be a later meeting, longer meeting. But yay. And then go from there.
Yeah, so we don't have to liaise now. It's more like after the budget comes out.
So there's two parts to the liaison. There's helping them craft their budgets.
Yeah.
And that's where you're kind of helping them explain and justify. You're not advocating for, but you're trying to get them to just explain their needs in a way that would be understandable to us.
Okay.
You may not agree with what they're asking for, but your role is to try and help them put it into the best explanation that would allow it to be understood and accurately voted.
Yeah.
Appropriately voted. That means you're not advocating for or against, but you're trying to help them word it in a way that it gives them the best chance of
Got it.
accurately presenting it.
Okay.
Okay, so that would be part one, and then
Mhm.
part two, that's in crafting the budget and beginning it, is helping and prepping them, particularly the larger ones, for coming in. What are some of the things that in the first, so on the January 12th, for example, as we're talking through the budgets, you should be taking down notes about your departments
Mhm.
and what the commentary is here, because those are the things and the questions that are already being asked.
Yeah.
They're the questions that they should know they're gonna come into,
Okay. That makes sense.
things like
Yeah.
that.
All right.
All right. Anybody have anything else on this? We don't have Catherine.
Yeah, just.
We don't have Catherine here.
Make a motion to adjourn.
There we go. We have a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor?
All right.
Aye. All, that's unanimous. Thank you, everyone.